Live. You're listening to with Men, the podcast.
This is Men, the podcast. Another day, another session. Na siku nyingine ambayo tunakuwa na conversation nyingine kuhusiana na mental health for men. Na kukukumbusha tu, the whole concept ya kuwa na Men, the podcast is moja, tunasema to unlearn. Maana yake kuyafungua yale ambayo tulikuwa tumejifunza zamani. Pili, ku-unpack. Ku-unpack ni kama kupakua vile, kutoka kwamba kama ulikuwa kuna box lako umeshalipack, na ku-unpack ni kwamba kujaribu kutoa, kuelewa kwamba kwa nini tunafanya vitu ambavyo tunavifanya, lakini vile vile tunasema relearn. Maana yake kwanza kujifunza upya yale ambayo tulidhani tumefundishwa mwanzo, lakini dhumuni la kujifunza upya ni ili kuweza kuwa bora zaidi na kuweza kufanya vitu kwa bora zaidi. Mimi naitwa Michael Baruti. Usually tunakuwa na Nadia Ahmed, a one resident psychologist, lakini lately kuna mambo mawili matatu yamembana, ndio maana ameshindwa kujoin, lakini very soon she'll be back on her seat. Kama unataka kuwasiliana na Nadia ambaye ni our resident psychologist, ni @mindmatterstz on Instagram, @mindmatterstz on Twitter. There's a link kwenye bio yake ambayo moja kwa moja itakupeleka kwenye website, and from there unaweza ukabook session if you want to. Sisi ni @men the podcast on Twitter, @men the podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Send us a DM, send us a tweet au chochote kile ambacho unataka kutuambia. Lakini kumbuka, which is the most important thing, go and subscribe kwenye YouTube channel yetu. Though if you're watching us, I think itakuwa inapita hapa mdau. Yeah, itakuwa inapita hapa. So go and subscribe, or unaweza kupitia link ambazo zipo kwenye our social media pages, ambao moja kwa moja itakupeleka kwenye channel yetu ya YouTube, lakini pia unaweza kutupata Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Boomplay, Audiomack, Good Pods, na anywhere ambapo unaweza ukapata podcast yako. So karibu sana kwenye Men the podcast. Hisia.
Yes.
Elisha.
Yes.
Which one do we go with?
Yoyote tu.
Which one are you comfortable with?
Popote ambapo hisia zako zitakupeleka. Yeah.
By the way, so this will be our episode number 86.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Wewe ndio mtu pekee ambaye umekuja na team yani. Yani katika guest wote ambao nimekuwa nao. Yeah, and I'm talking about tumefanya podcast moja na Kigwangala wakati alikuwa waziri.
Yes.
Tumefanya na balozi, alikuwa balozi wa Sweden Tanzania.
Yes.
Tumefanya na UN coordinator Tanzania.
Yes.
You are the only one who kuja na entourage.
It's not an entourage. Niko hapa with Desire, my wife.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Niko na ex.
Hisia na Desire.
Chezea.
Yeah.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah, match made in heaven, my God.
Yeah. Then niko na ex na Margaret. Ni wenzangu tunafanya nao kazi.
Amazing.
Yeah, ni wadogo zangu pia.
Amazing. Nice, man. Nice to have you here, my guy.
Asante.
So, kwa ambaye unatuangalia, unatusikiliza sasa hivi, na kama umekuwa ukitufuatilia kwa muda mrefu, unajua kwamba moja kati ya vitu ambavyo tulikuwa tumevizungumzia sana kwenye podcast yetu hapa ni umuhimu wa kuamini katika mchakato. Tunasema trusting the process. Na the reason tunasema ni muhimu kuamini kwenye mchakato kwa sababu kwa pamoja tunaamini kwamba hakuna kitu ambacho unastahili kupata na kile ambacho nakiamini kabisa kwamba kipo kwa ajili yako akikaja kwa urahisi. Mimi I strongly believe that. Nadia usually waga anasema kwamba doing the work is actually the shortcut. Kwamba hakuna namna nyingine ya kuweza kufikia mafanikio zaidi ya kufanya kazi. Na tulifanyaga episode moja na bwana moja. Episode I think ilikuwa inaitwa Finding My Purpose, to Find My God and Odin. And they actually talked about zima la kupitia mchakato wa maumivu. So literally ukizungumza na watu wengi ambao either they wanaamini katika wanachokifanya, wanapenda wanachokifanya, au wana ndoto kwamba itakachokifanya kitawapeleka sehemu fulani, huaga ni watu ambao wanaamini sana katika mchakato.
Yeah.
Sana.
Yeah.
And me and you met like I think about a month ago. Yeah. Na tulunganishwa na Hafiz. Shout out to Hafiz. Hafiz nilifanya podcast moja kuhusiana na malezi. It was a good one. So and wakati tunaongea, which was off air kabisa.
Yeah.
You started telling me about the journey that ulipitia kuweza kukufikisha hapa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And as we were talking, for me, I was really fascinated.
Okay.
Now, the reason I was fascinated ni kwa sababu niliona kwa namna gani ulifuata process ya mafanikio.
Okay.
Na ninaposema process ya mafanikio ni kwamba kuna outliers, few cases ambazo mafanikio yanakuja mtu pap,
yeah.
vitu vimetokea.
Yeah.
Lakini for a lot of us, it's actually a process.
Yeah.
Lazima upitie vitu na
Yeah.
and I think that is the essence of us having this conversation here. Ni kujaribu kufikia hayo. Kwa hiyo ambao ufahamu tunazungumza na Elisha au Hisia, maarufu zaidi kama Hisia. Instagram ni Hisia TZ.
Yep.
I hope hakuna Hisia KE na Hisia Ishi au Hisia ZA.
Yeah.
He has an amazing podcast ambayo anaifanya inaitwa Msasa.
Yes.
I'm a big fan.
Asante.
I've enjoyed a couple of episodes, and I think because some of them we find out about they're my friends. We find out with you, we find out Cindy,
Yes.
we find out Seba.
Yes.
Those are my people kabisa. We find out Mona Juice, we find nyingine na Ninja.
Yes.
Mzee wa Tumza. And this, and it's funny because these are the people that I know. Ambao kwenye seko yangu tunakutana nao. But it's always different when you hear them in front of the mic.
Yes.
Na namna ambao they decided to articulate and tell their stories.
Yes.
So before we deep dive into your story,
Okay.
I want to hear the story from Sasa.
Sawa.
Like, what is it? Why in Sasa? How did you come up with that?
Sawa. We run a marketing agency ambayo inaitwa Naked. Neiked. Naked. Na Naked is 5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, we're turning well, we're actually turning 5 in May. We'll be 5 years old. Na kwa kipindi kirefu sana tulikuwa tukifikiria hivi, what can we do that can be of value to just the general public? Like, you're as an agency, you're a creative, so you're familiar with agency business zilivyo. It's very volatile, yeah. There's lots of ups and downs. It doesn't go.
Oh,
no, it's fine.
It's raining outside.
In a capture.
The ambience, guys. Come on, Hisia. It's raining outside. Let's keep it moving.
Yes. So our business is very volatile. And so tumejaribu vitu mbalimbali kama kwenda kupeleka vitu kwa vituo vya watoto yatima, feeding the homeless during Ramadhani na kadhalika. But there's in some way it didn't feel like we're doing enough. And so tukasema okay, sisi kama sisi tunaweza tukafanya nini ambacho sio cha kibiashara na kinaweza kake na manufaa kwa wengi zaidi. And we thought, hey, let's do something ambacho we have the capability and the skill set to do, which is content production, marketing and comms. And so once we decided that, it was either going to be a series of events or a podcast. The podcast ikapata kura na watu wengi zaidi kwenye team, so ikawa ni podcast. And then sasa ndo tukawa nafikiria what is the angle. So ofisini kwetu bwana, we have a culture of embracing failure. To an extent whereby anybody who's new that comes in, ni kama vile unalazimishwa ufeli so that you can get over yourself. Like, get over it. Yani, you will fail multiple times, but fail quickly, fail fast. So so that we can keep the ball rolling. And we thought, okay, maybe this could be a cool concept, especially when you think about the fact that most people who are doing really well in something, whatever the case may be, mara nyingi sana walifail kwenye vitu vingi kabla. Sio wote, mara nyingi, lakini walifail kwenye vitu vingi kabla, na kufeli kwao pale ambako walifanikiwa kupata somo, a lesson, it's what made them better. Yes. And so we're like, you know what? Let's do a podcast where we are going to be talking to successful people about failure. And that's why Msasa came about. And that's what Msasa is.
Kwamba Msasa ni ile tunasafisha.
Sindio, kama?
Tunasafisha, tunapika.
Yes.
So, before we start, I want to ask you this. Why Hisia and not Elisha? What's the difference?
So, nyuma kidogo, nilikuwaga a full-time musician. I'm still a musician, but I was more full-time. Na tangu shule nilikuwa napenda kuimba. So ya shule siku zote kuna wale washikaji ambao wanakaga wanagonga meza, wanachana. Sasa kama sisi Arusha, watu wengi wanachana ni hip hop. I don't have the voice for hip hop. Kwa washikaji kwa kichana wanahitaji mtu wa chorus. Elisha anatia chorus. Shule mzee tuna mahit kibao.
Locally, you are locally respected.
Locally respected. Sasa ikaenda. I've always loved to sing. And then ikafika stage where nikamwaga kushiriki katika Tusker Project Fame.
I remember that.
So when I went to do the Tusker Project Fame, sikuwa na jina. So nakumbuka the first time ambako tumeenda Nairobi, and walikuwa wanasajili watu sasa ili muingie kwenye lile jumba like a big brother thing, and kwenye form pale ilikuwa you can write your name and artist name kama ukitaka. And that day I was like, you know what, Hisia, because I was thinking, because so before that I used to think labda ningejita Lil Sims au Lil Ellie. So unajua kuna Lil Wayne nge, it's like Lil Ellie.
I get it.
It's not creative, it's not creative. And then kana kabla I was like, you know what, hivi watu wengi huwa walikuwa wanasema nini shuleni whenever we're singing, and a lot of people used to say, "Da mwanangu naimba kwa hisia kisenge."
Yeah.
Na hisia mwanangu, na hisia kinoma chali yangu. So I was like, okay, let's go.
Hisia it is.
Hisia.
Amazing.
Yeah, just
amazing.
like that, yeah.
And that's how Hisia came about.
Yeah, so
yeah. Nataka kuzungumza. So I remember the first time nimekuwa it was on Tusker Project Fame. It was a very big show. I don't know why it discontinued. Were you in the same intake na Hemedi?
No.
Ilikuwa tofauti?
Yeah, we were the last version.
You are the last version.
Yeah.
But so this is where I want to, and I feel like it could be a segue into a deep dive ambayo tunataka kufanya kwenye conversation yetu. You went in, but you didn't win.
Yeah.
As in hukuibuka kama the top winner. Did you go in expecting to win?
No.
What did you expect?
I was surprised to be in. So
Wow, that's honest.
yeah, I was like, what? But I don't know what it was. I think the first time, so I actually auditioned to Tusker 3 times. Mara tatu ndo nikaingia.
Really?
Yeah. So the first time I auditioned, I was actually underage. Ilikuwa iko sponsored na kampuni ya beer.
Yeah.
So you had to be above 21, not 18. 21. So the first time I was 19, I auditioned. Tena walikujaga Arusha, ndo ilikuwa mara kwanza kabisa mkuja Chuga. Si ndio hiyo apita msechu hiyo. I auditioned, I didn't get in. The second time, walifanya Arusha, and then wakafanya na Dar. Nikaenda Arusha. Tena sasa nilikuwa nimejipanga kwa sababu walikuwa wanatangaza in advance. Nikasema nachukua nyimbo hii moja, afu na practice hiyo nyimbo kinoma noma.
Hata nilishtoa usingizini.
And I was ready. Lakini sasa kumbuka tena alifanya AAA pale, nikamwona yule mshikaji anaitwa Ian.
Yeah.
Nikasahau lyrics mshikaji wangu. Kabisa like
but Ian alikuwa kauzu.
Alikuwa kauzu, is very intimidating.
Yeah.
So, hiyo 2020, no, sorry, when I was 20,
yeah.
I don't remember what year was that. Yeah. Lakini when I was 20, sikupita Arusha. I was like, no, naenda Dar. Kapanda basi.
That same
someone walikuwa wanafanya Arusha, and then baada ya siku 4 wakafanya Dar. Kapanda basi nikaenda Dar.
Oh wow.
Nika-audition tena sikuingia. I was like, poa. And then when I turned 21, I was like, you know what, I'm going to audition again. Wow. Yeah, luckily sitaki someone uzuri, but luckily after high school mimi sikuendaga chuo. I had a moment 2 almost 3 years where I was kind of figuring myself out, and nilifanikiwa kumshawishi mzazi wangu nifanye kazi kidogo kabla sienda chuo. Maana nilikuwa sijui nataka kusoma nini. So when I turned 21, same thing. Kaja Arusha, nikaenda, sikupita. Nikaenda Dar, uzuri nilivyoenda Dar, Ian akwepa. I think my problem was Ian. Nilivyoenda Dar, it was so intimidating. Nilivyoenda Dar, nikafanyia audition na mtu huyu Zahir Zoro.
Oh wow.
So sasa, yeah, and then he's so welcoming, he's warm. So it felt like I'm singing in front of my uncle or something, yani. Ikaenda fresh. Katoka hapo sasa tukachuja tena tukaenda Nairobi. Kaenda Nairobi nakumbuka hadi tunafika sasa tunafanya audition nyingine. Akasema, "You again." Okay.
Show me what you
got. Yeah. And I honestly think the third time I auditioned again in front of him, I didn't do such a great job, but I think I think there was a sense of mshikaji kale anataka hichi kitu. Mshikaji anaangeka sana, yani huku haya poa, pita tuone utachujua kiasi gani. And to a very large degree, including myself, sikutegemea kufika mwisho. You know, in the history of the show, I'm the only contestant who never ever got ilikuwa ni tani ile kunaingia probation in the history of the show.
Really?
Never. Not once. I'm surprised I didn't win. But I'm also saying I didn't expect to win either. I didn't go thinking I would win. Because you know, those kinds of shows, you go with people who are like singing from church.
Proper singers.
Like,
yeah.
Appreciate it now.
And then that for me is really fascinating. This is what I'm saying was really fascinating because under normal circumstances, nikishajaribu mara ya kwanza, I'm like, you know what? F I'm done. Yani acha nikakomenda mambo mengine lakini kurudi second time. And then I feel like unajua kuna watu ambao naturally ni wabishe na kuna watu ambao naturally wanaamini kwamba hiki naweza.
Yeah.
Kama huu unaniambia mimi siwezi, I'll actually work hard to prove it to you.
Yes.
Naweza. Are you one of those people?
Sometimes. So sometimes yes, lakini I think as I'm growing up and I'm becoming a fully mature adult, naanza kukimbia ujana, naanza kuingia kwenye utu uzima rasmi, less and less. So it's not so much to prove a point. It's just if it's important enough or if there is a bigger vision ambayo hata saa zingine ni mimi peke yangu ndo naiona, lakini sinaiona, yani nikifunga macho naiona. Najaribu.
How did you know you wanted it that bad? How did you know kwamba
the Tusker thing?
Yeah. How did you know kwamba? Because come on man. Ya kwanza I could understand.
Yeah.
Ya pili kutolewa Arusha kuna then traveling to that.
Yeah.
Even that is understandable.
Yeah.
But doing it the same thing
the third time
I'm like, come on man. You must have, there's something that you were chasing. There's something that you must have wanted so bad. What was it?
I think at the time, it was around the age where I had decided that whatever happens in my life, I am going to do something creative. It wasn't so much, it has to be music. It's just at the time, singing was something that was always there. It came naturally. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And pia kwa kipindi hicho, kwa mfano sikuwa nimefunguka kama nilivyofunguka sasa hivi kwamba creative ni ulimwengu fulani mkubwa sana. Kwa kipindi kile mimi nilikuwa nafikiria creative lazima uimbe, uwe mwanamuziki au uwe mwigizaji. That's it. That was what creative was in my head. And I couldn't act, but I could sing. And so I think at the time I had a very strong belief that kama nikipita Tusker watanijua mtatoboa. So I was driven by that belief, not to prove a point, because so that was my go-to market strategy at the time.
Wow, I love that. And I love the thinking of that. Kwa sababu I think expectations a lot kwenye mambo kama hayo, it's more about I should go win. And then things will become easier for me once I win. But then for you, the prize was actually getting it to the house.
Just getting in. Kama wiki mbili tatu. Hata kitoka fresh. Kwa sababu unakuta the show is like almost 10 weeks. Hey, these shows, it's 10 weeks of prime time on prime television. Back to back. Hata kampuni kubwa zinazofanya campaign hazipati prime time a whole hour. Every single week. It's intense. And so that's why, for instance, when these shows, especially the big ones, when people come out of these shows, they are kind of celebrities. And it's also like it has a good side and a bad side.
Tell me about the bad side. I think the good side is easier to tell.
It's easier. The bad side is these singing competitions. One, you don't go there to sing your own songs. Sindio? With the exception ya kama siku hizi kuna kitu kinaitwa The Voice. Yes. Lakini zingine zote unaenda kuimba kapa. Kwa hiyo mnashindanishwa kwa jinsi gani unaweza entertain audience, entertain the judges, and your ability to cover a song really well. And so, by that definition alone, you're technically not really an artist or a musician. You're a glorified karaoke singer. And that's the bad side. And so when karaoke singer maarufu, yani kama unajua kuimba nyimbo za Asha, lakini sio mwanamuziki bado. Sawa na ndio maana hata ukiangalia haya mashindano mengi ulimwenguni kote, usually the winner doesn't have a career. It's the guy who was number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6 who have careers because they were like, okay, this was but I'm still going to do music though. You understand? And for instance, I felt it. I can give an example. Felt it real time kwamba, most musicians how they go about it in our market, so everywhere, just Tanzania, is you go to the studio, you produce the music, you release the music, you promote the music, and then you sit back and wait for shows. Very few people do their own shows, very few people tour kama the US watu wanavyofanya kwamba najipa mimi kazi, zikija zingine poa, lakini huku tunasubiri kupewa kazi. Lazima promoter akukubali. Hakupenda kufikiria aamini kwamba wewe unaweza kumletea biashara.
Wewe unawashikaji ma presenter ambao nyimbo zako zitatembea.
Na sasa kwa mfano kipindi kile umetoka sasa Tusker. Mimi kipindi hicho bado naishi Chuga. Lakini nikuja Dar for a few things, unaenda Mlimani City, nakutana na watoto vikishua vinomba autograph, you're like okay. So am I like famous or something?
Big no autograph.
Autograph. And then you're like, okay, kama mimi ni mwanamuziki, si nimetoa nyimbo, ngoja nitoe nyimbo nyingine. Mbona shaziji? Aziji? Shaziji. Just because you're famous doesn't mean a promoter wants to work with you. 1, 2, just because you're famous from singing other people's songs. You know,
why would I come to a show?
Why would I come to a show? Unless you create a whole career around covering songs, and then you have a fan base of people who like to come to listen to that really good karaoke singer. So that's
some people are gonna be bad.
It is what it is. But there is a lot of good in it. The idea behind it is very good. There's a lot of experiences, lessons, people you meet. The failing aspect of it is important as well, because you see, for instance, I'm telling you about going there not expecting to win. Although obviously everybody wants to win, but I was at peace with it already. But the opposite is also true. Kuna watu wengine pale, yani yeye maisha yake yote hajawahi kukutana na mtu anaimba kama yeye.
And then unakuwa
humble, and people will take humbling experiences differently.
I like that. And I think so I can relate to it for you. First of all, as a creative as well, if there's a tendency that I think I've had to get rid of, is falling in love with my own work. It's watu wanaosema kwamba love is blind. Kabisa, I truly believe it. Because if you fall, whether you're an artist, you're an actor, anything that you do as a creative, you tend to fall in love with your own work. Now, and truly love is blind. Ukipenda chongo, Swahili wanasema ukipenda chongo utaita kengeza. Really, unaweza ukaona kwamba really there's nothing wrong with your work. Mpaka hapo unakutana na mtu ambaye ni mkali zaidi yako, and then they challenge you to the point kwamba mimi waga nasema they push you out of your comfort zone. Just uweza kugundua kwamba okay, maybe mimi sio mkali kama nilivyokuwa nadhani. Au you know, unaweza kuwa wa kwanza katika kundi la wajinga. I mean bado ni wa kwanza lakini unaongoza wajinga. So those kind of things they would really humble you. I like that. So did you always had a dream of becoming a creative?
No.
How did that come about?
I have no idea. There's no plan. It just happened. Kusema kweli, it just happened.
What was your dream about?
Ile kitoto ile ziko zinabadilika kila siku. Unataka kuwa astronaut wale wanaenda huko. Astronauts. Wow. Unataka kuwa pilot kwa sababu unaona una suti kali afu unakaa kwenye ndege afu kupanda ndege.
Nataka kuwa pilot mpaka nilipokutana na hesabu.
Afu ndio hizo unakutana na realities kwamba inabidi kumbe ni hivi kwenye chemistry. It's okay. But I grew up a shy kid, painfully shy, unfortunately. And so
when you say painfully shy, as in there's a limit kuwa na aibu, and then kuna ile kuwa extremely.
Ni shy mpaka kama unakera hivi watu. Ile nakumbuka form 1 form 2 niko secondary school. Hapo ndo mnapokuwa mmebalea kidogo. Washikaji used to call girls on me. Yani utani wao, how they would tease me is that wananitia wasichana waje kuniongelesha, labda wasichana form 3 form 4, afu mimi nashindwa kuongea nao, labda nakimbia naondoka. Wenyewe enjoy anacheka. So I was painfully shy. I had another friend, anaitwa Ernest Mramba. He's a very good friend to date. He was also painfully shy. Kwa tukani tunafuga
ugonjwa.
It's
okay, the personality.
So everybody had to find their escape. His escape was sports and football. Mine became books. And sio books kwamba napenda shule kiivo, lakini novels. And you know, ilinisaidia pia kujifunza lugha Kiingereza zaidi nini. And so actually books became my best friend. And then at some point I got tired of reading fiction books. Yani kwanza nilikuwa sisome fiction books, mshikaji wangu. Unakumbuka vile vitabu vidogo vile vya Bloom skinny
Mills and Boone or whatever,
those love stories. So nyingi kinoma. Nikatoka hapo nikasoma James Hadley Chase. I think I've read over 100 James Hadley Chase books. And then but anyway, it got to a point where I got tired of fiction because I felt nothing is new. And so I was lucky enough to be around a guy anaitwa John Mlai, na akanitambulisha kwenye vitabu tofauti. Akaniambia, hey, what do you like to read? Akaniambia, I read this. He's like, yeah, but have you ever read anything other than fiction and love stories and people chasing people with guns? Nikamwambia hapana. Akaniambia chukua hichi kitabu. And akanipa kitabu kilikuwa kinaitwa The Richest Man in Babylon. Na akanipa si Rich Dad Poor Dad. Changed my mind. Really? Yani kabisa, yani from there on so the love for books maana ikaanza kupotea, ikarudi. Interest ikabadilika, nikaanza kusoma kuhusu biashara. So labda kujibu swali lako, I never knew I wanted to be a creative. I don't think it's something you choose. I don't think it's something you choose. I don't think being a creative is not something you choose.
It's either you have it or
you have it or you don't. And it happens to you or it doesn't. You can even be in the right environment with the right people, but it's just you either have it or you don't. You don't choose to be a creative. You just are.
You cannot learn to be a creative.
Yeah. It's the same way you can't change who you are. So what I did know is I always wanted to be a businessman.
Okay.
Yeah, because vile vitabu vikawa vinanihamasisha nini na nikaanza kujifunza kumbe business ina mambo mengi. Kuna law, because this time I really thought I could be a lawyer. Kuna law, kuna sales, kuna marketing, kuna accounting, kuna finance na nini. Na hicho pia ndo kilichangia kwamba nilivyomalizaga high school sikwenda chuo. Kwa sababu nilikuwa najua nataka kuwa mfanyabiashara, lakini sijui ni lini wapi.
So this is the part that really and I would love for us to talk about it. Kwanza kabisa, I want to know the conversation uliokuwa nayo na mzazi nyumbani kwenda kumwambia kwamba you know what? Nimemaliza form 6. Nimemaliza, sidhani kama nataka kwenda chuo, nataka nichukue muda kidogo. Cause sidhani kama the conversation about a lot of African parents would actually entertain na kutolerate. So I would say I'm looking at it kama you went to pitch that idea.
Oh no, I didn't pitch it.
Oh really?
Why pitch something that won't work? So because I got it. Kuna watu ambao wamemaliza form 4 wakaenda chuo na kuna watu wengine wamesoma mpaka 6 na wakaenda chuo. So kwa mfano mimi form 4 nimefaulu kinoma na sio ya 7, sio ya 8, kitu kama hicho. And then my plan was, hey, nimefaulu, can I just go to uni?
There's no point of
I already know I want to do business. I don't understand kwa nini nisome eka ili nikasome kile tena chuo. Au nisome EGM au hizo. Lakini ilivyo tafsiriwa, huyu mtoto hataki shule. Yani ndio hivyo ilivyo tafsiriwa, ikawa kesi.
It doesn't matter uliongea nini.
Na mind you, mimi nimesema hivi, sitaki kuacha shule. Nadhani hii form 4 inatosha.
African parents.
Huyu mtoto hataki shule. Mungu wangu tunafanyaje huyu mtoto? Nikapigiwa simu na mjomba.
Form zimo kuonekana ndio ulishindikana.
I thought I said anyway. So when form 6 happened, uzuri form 6 ulikuwa unamaliza mwezi wa pili kile. And then chuo
mwezi wa 9 huko.
So kipindi kile ilivyotokea, it was more along the lines of okay, nimemaliza, niko nyumbani, steka kiasara. What can I do? Tafuta kazi nini, unagonga hodi, nachiki ndugu labda anaweza kukupa mchongo hata kama kuendesha gari whatever. And it wasn't happening. And I got back to my books. I was like, okay, all of these things sindo biashara, lakini biashara mwisho wa siku nini? Ni mauzo. Something needs to be sold so that revenue is generated. So sales,
bottom line.
It's bottom line. That's it. So sales is the most important skill to have as a businessman. You can be good at anything else above and beyond, but if you're not good at sales,
it's pointless.
Lazima ujue kuuza. So
you've just given us business 101 right there. Like no matter what you do, you gotta know how to sell.
You gotta know how to sell. So what you're selling is up to you. It's a product, it's a service, it's a vision. Kama sisi, we sell ideas, right? Right? We sell ideas. So I was like, okay, how can I become a salesperson? Hakuwa na nafasi nyingi, lakini kipindi hicho ndo network marketing ilikuwa yani hivi, GNLD, Forever Living zilikuwa hivi. Na wakati huo kwa Arusha, Questnet ilikuwa imeanza chuga. Wakati huo hiyo ni 2010 nadhani, ilikuwa imeanza Arusha. And so mimi nikafanikiwa kumshawishi bi mkubwa kulipia ile product. Walikuwa na product inaitwa Biodisk. At that time they only had one product. Kuna Biodisk kwa sababu ina afya, ina faida za kiafya kwake, lakini kwangu mimi nitapata kazi ya kufanya.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. So I sold, hey, you should buy this, but on top of this, I'll get something to do. Yeah. And akakubali. And nikaingia Questnet. And I guess that's how I started to do sales. And it also helped. I had my own personal agendas. The shyness ilikuwa haijaisha. And then unajua ile, the fear of kuambiwa hapana, kukosolewa ilikuwa nayo changamoto. I might have never had a girlfriend up to that point if that girl didn't ask me out. It was intense, bro. Because like, you know what, at least with sales, nitakuwa nauza kitu lazima niongee na mtu, lakini uzuri ni kwamba naongea na mtu siwajui. Kwa hata kata fresh. Tufanye sales. So they get Questnet. And bro, to this day, our shikaji network marketing, it is a pyramid scheme. I would not recommend anybody to do it unless they're doing it for very, very specific goals. Or unless wewe unaanzisha kwako.
You sit on top of the pyramid.
Yeah, do your thing, my nigga. Lakini, our shikaji wamepatia vitu fulani. Kwa mfano, their sales training, like how they teach you, or train you rather, to sell their products. Out of this world, man. I've never gotten a sales training as good as that. And that's what? This is 2024? Yeah. It's intense.
You're talking about 14 years ago.
Yeah, the energy. Unakumbuka, yani unahisi kama vile, hivi kweli, kwa nini, au ni nwe ingine? Yani, yeah. It's intense. The sales training was incredible. The culture ambao wanaijenga around who's going out there to sell, it's incredible. And so, yeah, it helped me. Nikaanza kuuza. Nikaanza kufanya sales meetings. Let me correct myself. Yeah, I didn't sell anything for the first 6 months, I think, or 7 months.
For the first 6 months.
6, 7, yeah. Paka ile kipindi cha chuo
you sold
nothing. Unafanya tu vikao back to back.
Kwa nyumbani unaonekana unaamka huko busy.
Niko busy. Lakini ilikuwa it's better than kaa nyumbani kwa sababu ilikuwa yani kwamba nilikuwa kama vile nimeajiriwa. Yani naamka asubuhi, navaa shati, chowekea, na credit yangu, raba, naenda town. Nikaa town natafuta vikao. Wakati huo sasa wewe hujui watu wazima. Kwa hiyo unaongea na uncle na nani wakupe namba za washikaji zao ambao wanaweza kufaidika na hichi kitu kinaitwa Biodisk kwa sababu kina remarkable SBS. So it's not true. But on top of that, if you add a friend, you can make money. And if your friend adds a friend, you can make money. Afu unachora pale sababu yani zinavutia. Wewe unje kuzota hii? Wewe una buku tu ya kurudi nyumbani baadaye. Lakini ndio hivyo, back to back. Yaani naamka naenda. It was this blind belief of faith that, okay, you know what? Sushabu kufanya sasa. Lakini pia kulikuwa kuna a little bit of guilt kwamba yani itafika hadi nimeenda chuo sijauza disketa moja maza. Sijatangaje. Hivi toto likoje hili?
Ukizingatia ni kitu likitaka mwenyewe.
But anyway, what happened is one day I'm meeting this client who mshikaji anaitwa Mr. Patrick. He owns a printing company in Arusha inaitwa Creative Solutions in Kenya. And nimekaa pale, nimemsomesha mshikaji kama 40 minutes, yani bidhaa dakika 10, ile nusu saa ile is how if you add this and you add this and you add this, yani $1 million haiko mbali. You become your own boss, all that stuff.
It is like, why you not your own boss?
You know. So anyway, tumemaliza and he was like, Elisha, so I'm not going to buy your product. Yeah. So thank you, but I'm not going to buy your product. But I think I want to buy you. I was like, hey, what? What do you mean? He's like, so akanielezea. So wakati huo ndo kampuni ndo kumbe ndo imeanza tu. So ni yeye, mke wake, partner wake na wafanyakazi kama wawili. So he's like, I have this business inaitwa hivi. Can you teach my people to do what you just did, but for printing services instead of this biodisk thing. Can you do that, but for printing services? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I do sales training all the time. He's like, okay, so how does it work? In India, have a program? Yes, I have a program. Acha nifike ofisini, Snowpiece. Acha nifike ofisini, and then I'll do the write-up for you. I'll also send you a quote, and then we can discuss the details. Poa. Katoka hapo, kikimbia. I had another uncle who has a consulting firm. Nikamwelezea mchakato ukoje, akaniambia hivi vitu unachajije, akanielezea pale, tukachora mpango mkakati, katengeneza invoice, nikamrushia mshikaji, akasema poa, can we start next week? Nikamwambia no, I need 2 weeks to do market research, but I need an advance. Nilikufanya market research. Akanitumia advance, akanitumia nakumbuka kasi, how much money was it? It felt like a lot at the time.
Yeah.
And then I took all that money, the advance, nikaenda, there's a bookstore in Arusha, very old bookstore, into Kase bookstore. Tena mshikaji wa Kase, alikuwa ashanizoea na Elisha, nakuja kidogo anakuja anapenda vitabu. Nikachukua advance yote ya kwanza, nikamwambia, "Oya, I need books about selling." Yeah, so akanipa vitabu vya hela yote, akanichagulia, akaniambia chukua hichi, soma hichi. Alifurahi sana. Ilikuwa na kingi. Alafu mimi nikashika vitabu, nikaenda home, nikafanya market research. So because I told the client I'm going to do market research kuelewa industry ya Arusha ikoje nini.
Realistically speaking, you're reading books.
Like I'm reading sales books so I can go teach other people how to do sales. And that's what I did. I read for 2 weeks, nikamaliza vitabu vyote, tukaenda tukafanya training kwa sababu walikuwa wachache, tuko nakaa kwenye hoteli kama table.
Yeah.
And then we just have conversations. So you're training ya kitu zima, amna mtihani. Just have conversations. I give them scenarios, I give them challenges, I tell them how to respond. Nini zina creme vya kutosha. Nikatengeneza nikamanyo, nikawapatia hivyo for a whole week, and that was my first consulting gig.
You're talking about before you even went to college.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then I had a couple of consulting gigs, and then maybe 9 months in, I finally sold my first biodisk. I sold 4 of them in one day. That was because I don't want to do this thing. I don't like it.
So I'm if I'm getting it right? Yeah. You umemaliza A level.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to do business.
Yeah.
You went into sell.
Yeah.
You're learning how to sell it.
Yeah.
You're learning how to sell.
Yeah.
So I would say you're kind of like honing your craft. I would say, that is when you're getting skills, people skills, how to lie, how to tell the truth, when to lie, when not to lie, pretty much all the things that come with selling, right?
Okay.
After that, when do you get the realization, you know what, maybe it's time to go back to school right now?
I think ilikuwa 2013. Nimekaa mtaani hapo 3 years.
And 3 years in time you're living good, but now you're selling. Mambo yanaenda.
Yeah, mambo yalianza kwenda. Yani by the time mwaka kwanza ule unaisha, kwanza mshikaji aliniweka on retainer, kanipa $500 kwa mwezi.
It's a lot of money.
Kanibani.
Mshahara wangu wa kwanza ukua hiyo.
Wow, bro.
Mshahara wangu wa kwanza ukua way less than that.
Una makato ala nini, ananipa cash. Nikasema ndio, siingie ofisini. Na kazi yenyewe ilikuwa ni kuwasaidia washikaji wakienda kwenye sales meetings. Kuwasaidia, na sio kwamba tukienda na mimi na sell, na angalia wao wanavyosell, afu tukitoka hapo tunafanya ka session, fanya hivi. Na kwa gani kana fugaga nywele, afu unajua ukiwa na nywele na ukigain weight unaonekana mkubwa kuliko mwili wako. Kwa nini kajinenepesha kidogo, nywele nyingi. Nini nionekana at least 20 something because I was 19, bro. So anyway,
you'd be the asshole for.
So 2013 ndo Tusker ikatiki, nikaenda Nairobi. And then after the Tusker thing, I think sasa, I don't know what happened. I think we had a conversation na mom. Naambia bwana, kwanza ushachelewa chuo, huwezi kuapply tena, ulishakosa ile opening yako ya Q. Nilifanikiwa kuingia Kampala University la. Na fine, nasoma huko Nairobi. Si ndio? So kuna vyuo huko. Afu form 6 kufanya vizuri sana, lakini form 4 nilifanya vizuri. Huko nachukua form 4. Fresh. Basi poa, nikasoma Nairobi. It just kind of happened. It wasn't really I think I need to go to school kind of realization.
It was out of necessity.
It was out of necessity. I'm done. And I think there was also the reality check that, okay, I don't know if I'm becoming good at this, but it does feel like I'm above average every time I meet other people who are doing sales and marketing, who are older than me, have master's degrees. They're 28, 29. I'm 10 years younger. I feel like I'm a little bit better than them. Maybe I'm in my head, but I feel like I'm a little bit better than them. But the problem is, for instance, I could never be hired to do their job because I'm sina vyeti.
No qualification.
No qualification.
Yeah.
Kwa hivyo tu, yani, the things aligned in the candid.
As you're talking, you got me thinking. Unajua, nilikuwa nafanya kazi ya TV and radio, right?
Yeah.
Back then, I had like I couldn't see myself out of TV and radio. I'm like, this is it.
This is it.
You know, this is it. It's a good place.
Yeah.
At least back then, you know, it's a good place. It's one of my favorite. It is. I'm attached to EATV and radio, so it's one of those radios that I nasikiliza sana.
Yeah.
Right. This was me fresh from college.
Yeah.
Fresh from college, nikapata hiyo kazi na nini. So after a while, I'm like, okay, I don't think I want to be a radio presenter forever. So at some point, I love radio. I really do. Mpaka leo. It's one of the reasons why I do the podcast. I feel like that's where I get my energy. I kuendelea kufanya mambo mengine. So
you talk like a radio guy.
Yeah. So thank you. So so in my mind I was like, okay, I need to do something about it because I love this place. I want to work here. I want to continue to work here.
Yeah.
But one, I feel like, so for me it was like I felt like the marketing guys were making more money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe if I get into marketing, na mimi nitatengeneza hela zaidi. So you know what I did?
Yeah.
I went to school kusoma masters in marketing. Right, proper. Nikafanya, nikagraduate, nimesomea hapa Mzumbe na nilia da. Lakini now, how my career after that, nikatoka ATV, nikaenda kufanya kazi Femina, nimetoka Femina, went to BBC, nimetoka BBC, wakati Bongo. So literally, my career imeenda in a whole different trajectory right now.
Yeah.
And I'm happy now. But I'm looking at it now, probably, ninge wait one more year. Probably singesoma masters in marketing.
Ungesoma masters, yeah?
Probably right now, if you ask me right now, I would say probably again some maybe masters media management, media development, project management, because it is in line with what I do now. But I'm talking about going to school out of necessity.
Yeah.
But for me, the only reason I went back to school then was one. So I went back to school the same year that my dad passed away, and I had promised him that I'd go back to school. Yeah. So I was like, come on, you gotta go back. And for the longest time, alikuwa na brag kwamba he's the only one in the family ambaye alikuwa na masters. Wengine wote walikuwa tunazuga. So I was like, I'll prove a point, you know?
Yeah.
But another reason was like, the only way naweza career yangu ikakuwa within this organization ni kama nikienda kusoma marketing. But maybe either ningepata good guidance au ningekuwa a little bit more patient, probably singesoma hivyo. No regret. I feel like things worked out. Na ndio maana mpaka leo watu wakishaanza kuanza kuzungumzia kwenda kusoma masters au nini, I'm always very keen because about why do you want to do it?
Yeah.
You know, why do you want to do it? Is it what you need, or is that something is this something that you feel like you gotta do it because you feel like it's gonna work out for you now, but you gotta think ahead as well.
Yeah. I'm all for delaying big decisions if you can. So kwa mfano mimi nilivyoenda chuo sasa, so nimesoma international business with a focus in marketing and psychology.
Wow.
And I'm not a therapist though, but
it works for you well right now.
Well, I mean, you gotta understand people in order to communicate to them. Lakini kwa mfano isingekuwa, maybe haikuhitaji kuwa miaka 3, labda mwaka mmoja ungenitosha, lakini isingekuwa hiyo gap, I might have studied the wrong thing and ended up in the wrong career, or studied the wrong thing afu bado nikirudi huku tu, afu I'm like, kwa nini nimesoma kitu? Unajua zile. Kwa hiyo kwa mfano hata mimi na fantasize nikijaliwa kupata my own children, kama wakimaliza ile high school, especially siku hizo watu wanamaliza wadogo, unajua ni watu wanamaliza 16, 17.
Bro, my 7-year-old is in grade 3.
Unaona
back then 7 years been anaanza la kwanza. So I'm looking at it right now, I'm like, why? What happened? But
so mimi mwenyewe I fantasize kwamba kama kimaliza mapema na kichwa kiko vizuri, achukue leap year. It's normal. Ni mwaka mzima chukua off. Sio off kwa nyumbani, lakini off ya shule. figure out who you really are as a person mtaani. Fanya kazi 2-3. Find out what you hate or find out what you love, you know? And then go to that school. Wanaipo tu.
You said something about delaying big decisions.
Yeah.
And it really unajua unapata ile light bulb, right? And it made me think about a lot of big decisions that I've made in my life. Like, did I really take a step back na kujaribu kufikiria? And I honestly feel like there are some ambazo really took my time, but I also feel like mengine ambazo nilikuwa nimezirush. But I always say, you know, things happen for a reason. Whatever happened. But one of the things I feel like watu tuna struggle navyo sana is to want things to happen right here, right now. And sometimes we feel like kama dirisha likifunguka tunaona this is the only way to go, forgetting kama maybe if you turn right kutakuwa kuna mlango mzima ambao unaweza ukafunguka, which is much better than ile dirisha hapa.
I mean, delayed gratification is a craft in itself. I believe, and this is quite personal, that if you can become good at delayed gratification, you should, in theory and practice, have a more fulfilling life eventually.
I got you.
But because also delayed gratification allows you to let things flow, let things happen. You can have a vision. The vision, you should be stubborn, but you can be flexible in the execution. Delayed gratification, mfano mwepesi tu ni kuna watu wakianzisha biashara, ile biashara ikitengeneza pesa pale anaanza kuchukua ndeka mfukoni, anaishi, si ndio? Alafu baadaye anashangaa kwa nini biashara yangu haikui. Tofauti na watu wengine wakianza biashara, anasema bwana, miaka 2 ya kwanza atutoe, tuzungushe tu mumu ndani. That is
delayed gratification.
Delay the gratification, because everything you think you know before you do something, you don't.
Speak on that a little bit more. Come again?
What did I say?
Everything you
think you know before you do something, you don't. Yeah, yani, there is no perfect plan. You just plan well, and you take calculated risks. Lakini hasa kwenye creative, biashara, even projects, non-profit as well. Haujui kila kitu. Na hivyo, kama kuna nafasi ya kuwa na... how do I say this? If you can, in as much as possible, leave room for things to happen and things to fall into place. Because then if you don't do that, or you can't do that, you do put yourself in a scenario where you're constantly chasing for something and you lose direction eventually. And na kwa mfano sasa kwenye biashara, when you think of tulikuwa tunaongea na Kinga Mkono juzi, na he was explaining very well about how in tech products, nyie mnakaa mnabuni, mnasema hizi buttons zitafanya hichi, watu wanapenda this user interface and this user experience, and the checkout should look like this, and then you take it to market and that's not what the market is telling you. So what's the lesson there? You come back, you do it again, you take it, it's still not what they're looking for. So do you stop? Or do you continue to iterate until you get it right? But what does that tell you? That tells you maybe your solution is proper, but the way you're doing it is not right. Or maybe the whole solution is not proper and you need to pivot. So, leave room for things to fall into place.
And I think that should be the general rule in life, right? It's just not just in business. I feel like even in life, as like you say, the older you get, the wiser you get, maisha shatuchapa huko, kuna vitu ushapigwa character development, ushapiga watu character development, you've learned, umekuwa, inafikia kipindi unaanza kuelewa kwamba yani there should always be a room ya kusema kwamba
I don't know. That's it. I don't have all the answers. I do know that I need to get from point A to point B.
Will I get there?
I will get there. I believe I'll get there. So let me give you another analogy. So for instance, kuna project management, right? We talked about project management. And more recently, there's agile project management. So what's the difference between a waterfall approach and the traditional project management and agile? The difference is this. Natoka da kwenda Chuga, kwenda Arusha.
We get it, we know.
Wanajua?
Wanajua.
Natoka da kwenda Arusha. Sawa. The traditional project planning methodologies require us to know mafuta kiasi gani, nita refill wapi, bumps ziko wapi, torches ziko wapi, traffic wako wapi, nitakula wapi, nitakuwa kwa muda gani, nikitoka hapa saa 2 nitafika hapa saa ngapi. I need to know everything. In agile project management, which is what is more commonly used lately, especially in tech and creative and innovation, is hiyo safari, lakini kwanza inaanza usiku, so think of it as usiku, and I can only see as far as the lights show.
Headlights zako zitakapoishia.
Zitakapoishia ndo naona paka hapo, na nikifika hapo nitaona paka pale. Lakini haimaanishi sijui napotokea kwenda, na haimaanishi kwamba I'm completely blind. I have some ideas kwamba kuna bumps, kuna traffic, mafuta yatahitaji kuongezwa, nahitaji kuwa na pesa mfukoni au kwenye simu, all that thing, but I'm going from here to here, but I'm being flexible in how I go about getting here. You understand? But the goal is still the same. I think when you treat most things in an agile approach, you do create enough room for magic to happen.
One of my favorite rappers, Jay-Z, is one of these songs. He just said, "There's nothing wrong with the aim. I just gotta change the target." And what you just said, I feel like resonates so with that line, in the sense, combat. There's nothing wrong with you going where you want to go or knowing where you want to go. But sometimes you gotta be flexible enough kujua kwamba moja, speed bumps. Traffic utegemea awe Msato, unaweza kumkuta Bagamoyo. Umebeba spare tire moja, unaweza kupata pancha 2, 2 different tires. You know, as in, unaweza ukaenda njiani fatigue, ukashindwa, kama una drive ukachoka, ukashindwa kudrive, ukapata muscle cramp. You know, so ukashindwa tena kucheza na pedal, like things happen. So you should be able kuweza kuadjust your mom. So tell me, you've gone to school, right? You've gone back to school. Umetoka shule. You know you want to do business. Then how do we move from there to Naked Creative Agency?
Oh, Naked also just happened. So
amazing how things just happened for you, my guy. It's like, unajua kuna watu tu mna bahati za maisha kwamba tunaenda, and then somehow vitu vinatokea tu, nyota zina align, things are moving.
I do think luck exists. I do not think I'm lucky.
Really?
Yeah. I think I am, every once in a while, prepared for something to happen. But to answer your question, so chuo, kipindi hicho Tusker, kipindi hicho Hisia, kipindi hicho music.
You're on top of the world.
Gigs. In my own little way. Music. I used to do event planning. I used to organize my own concerts. It's called Music Hisia. I used to do them in Arusha, Dar, Mwanza, and Nairobi. And then event planning was actually what I thought I might end up doing as a career. And I did that throughout my whole uni. The uni was 4 years. So
you were never broke with chuo?
No, I've never been broke.
You were rolling.
I got broke after chuo. I was like, kumbe. Mkata kumaliza ningechelewa zaidi kumaliza, lakini I was always busy. The idea did stream as a lot chuo. We used to do bartending in bars in Nairobi. So I was quite busy. Sasa nilivyomaliza, kwanza by the time unajua mimi naenda chuo, washikaji wote ambao tumemaliza wote wao washamaliza. Wao wanamaliza, mimi ndo naingia.
Wako mtaani.
Kwa hiyo tayari there was like another 4-year gap. Story hazifanani, kama hivyo. So I was like, okay, I guess I gotta figure this out myself. Wakati huo sasa Magufuli is in power. Events thing were not happening as much. Sponsors hawatoi hela hivyo, and Arusha palikuwa pagumu. Ni mkoani yani, palikuwa pagumu yani. And I was like, okay, I don't know. And then Arusha pia 4 years of event planning and all that stuff, I could see the limit of my...
You hit the ceiling.
Yeah, I hit the ceiling. Creatively, financially, I could see, this is it? Really? No, it can't be it. So it's like, okay, I have to decide. Nihamie kwenye jiji. So either nibaki Nairobi, pambane na wa Kenya, tujue tunatoboa vipi, au nihamie Dar. And I decided Dar. So nimeweza tu chuo. Nikapita nyumbani nikakaa kama wiki hivi, nikapaki begi langu nikaja Dar. Na mshikaji wangu who's also my business partner right now wa distro anaitwa Frank. Kana kwao. I had no plan though. Yeah, but the plan was come to Dar, angalia mazingira koje, look for a job. You have a degree now, maybe you can get a proper job.
And a bit of an experience.
And you have experience, so CV yako tayari na 4 years experience. Hivyo, so nikaja huku. Sorry, I had already decided to move here, so already applying for jobs. Lakini sijua kazi zilivyo. Apply kama 100 kitu hivi, ukapita moja afu amwelewani bei, vitu kama hivyo. So anyway, I came to Dar. I looked for some jobs. I got one. I was lucky I got a pretty good gig. As the head of marketing was Zoom Tanzania, na Brighter Monday Tanzania at the time. So because imenunuliwa and then zikawa merged into one business. And so my original plan was actually Joda, kazi kama kamili, because that is not your home. You need to make friends.
Connect,
network. DJs niko najua. So my plan was Joda, fanya kazi kamili and then go back to music full time.
Okay.
That has not happened yet. I've been in there for 7 years now, so you
don't see that happening anytime soon.
Well, I see it happening, just maybe not in the way I thought it would have. I project managed it too much. I should have been agile.
Good description.
So anyway, nikapata kazi Zoom, nikafanya hapo kiasi. Nikatoka hapo nikahamia marketing agency inaitwa Think Tank Communications. It's owned by a guy called Martin Hekeno. He owns a project management consulting and training business now in Hebo Group. A brilliant Tokapokawe. By far one of the smartest young men I've ever met in my life is my last boss, Martin Hekeno. Brilliant guy. By far. And even how I even got the job, I kind of didn't earn the job, really, kwa sababu people in agency hire people from agency environments. Mimi nilikuwa huku, I guess, client side, and I was doing a lot of digital. I've been lucky kusema kweli. I've been able to be around a lot of digital environments. I was one of the very early team ambao walikuwa wana push Mkito kipindi hicho. I recruited all the Kenyan musicians onto Mkito kipindi hicho. Nilikuwa nafanya kazi na Sune. But anyway, I was at Zoom and I saw another ceiling. And the ceiling that I saw is this is cool to be in a place that really believes in digital ads na nini. Watu wanaenda Zoom, wananunua vitu, wanatafuta kazi, wanatangaza kazi, wanafanya digital campaigns. It was very, very cool. And they were spending a lot of money kwa mwezi, kwa matangazo, si mchezo. If it was not Zoom, what else would it be? It was bro, si mchezo. I was like, okay, this is cool. Lakini sokoni. Pakoje. Mimi mwenyewe I own an e-commerce business, and I know for a fact that in this market, you can't be 100% digital. You can be largely digital, but you do need to have some on-ground.
You can never be 100%.
Yes.
You cannot.
Lazima figure out on a balance VP. And if you're not balancing, be willing to take the consequences that come with it. And so I was like, okay, I think natamani kwa kwenye mazingira ambayo naeza nikaona watu wanafanyaje matangazo ya radio, ya TV, kama kampeni sasa, sio kwa ajili yangu tu na event vyangu properly. So I was like, hey, let me join an agency. So nikaingia LinkedIn, I found 5 agency owners. I sent them a message. Hi, I do this and this. This is the kind of results I've been able to do here. I feel like I could do more in an environment like yours. Sent a message.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. That's 2018, I think. 2017-ish. 2018. I got 3 meetings. 2 actually happened. One of them gave me a job, which was Martin. I think to a large degree, I mean, siwezi kumsemea, but he chose to gamble on me because he took a bet. It worked out for him, but
clearly,
but he took a bet because this kid, digital, mwanamuziki, events. Agency is stressful. But he took a bet. He saw whatever it is that he saw, and he gave me a job as a media specialist. Ambayo sasa niko nafanya digital pamoja na traditional. Ndo hapo nikajifunza kufanya traditional media plans, my Excel yale nini. I'm actually pretty good at maths. Lakini so nilivyotoka kwa Martin, so after Martin is when Naked was born. And I'm saying Naked just kind of happened because how it was I really liked my job. It was a good job. It paid well. The culture was nice. And the leader of the firm was somebody I wanted to be under. Yani,
proper mentor.
Proper mentor. I was like, mshikaji, hapa. Yani ikitokea naondoka, sijui. And it never crossed my mind. At that point, I was like, I want to stay here with this guy, learn everything he knows, and see how else I can maybe even become a partner in this firm instead of leaving. And I was completely sold onto the vision. But what happened was the business iliyumba, again, agency business is like this. We lost a couple of big clients and some got fired because, for business reasons. And hivyo, they had to downsize, na vitu kama hivyo, etc. And it got to a point where it didn't make a lot of business sense for them to have very expensive hires like me. They were paying me really well. Yani kilo safi. Na lakini sasa kabla hicho kutokea, mimi nilikuwa nimeshaanza kufukuzia ule ndoto yangu ile ya si 2 years after muziki.
Na mwaka wa pindo
sasa fanyaje hapa? Hebu yani jitengeneze mazingira ya kutoboa again. Luck doesn't just happen to you. You need to be prepared. So I was like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? Kwanza, kazi sana kufanya gigs alive. Kwa sababu ilikuwa kazi sana kupata sehemu za kurehearse. So sehemu nyingi ambazo tulikuwa tukipata gig hotelini wapi Hyatt, bado hapo napiga gig moja yani. Inabidi kufanya rehearsal kanisani. Sasa unajua kufanya rehearsal kanisani ni changamoto kidogo. Sasa zingine unakutana kwao nao wana rehearsal zao. Nyimbo zako sio za kimungu afu
unajua anakemea pepo, unapeleka mapenzi. Unapeleka hisia. No.
So nikana kumbuka unajua Nairobi kulikuwa kuna studios ambazo watu wanaenda kufanya rehearsal. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a rehearsal studio. So that was the idea. I'm going to make a rehearsal studio. I thought it was going to be called Hisia Studio, and I was like, no, let me come up with a cooler name. The name was Naked. But Naked was supposed to be a rehearsal studio. And baadaye nilivona vision ni ndogo, nikasema nipanue kidogo iwe a content studio. Why a content studio? Because I didn't want to compete with my employer. My employer was an agency. If I do an agency, that's direct competition. I'll get fired. But
conflict of interest.
Lakini kama agencies nyingi haziproduce. Wanabuni, wanaandika scripts nini, lakini they don't produce
much. They take it to the studio.
They take it to the studio. Wanene wapi. I'm going to build a content studio. Na huko ndo kama rehearsal, nifuata gigs zangu.
It makes sense.
Ilikuwa connect sana kwa bonge la plan. Yani ilikuwa so simple. Nilikuwa nishamaliza maisha. And then
ulikuwa na retirement plan hapa.
Oh wow. Yes. But it didn't happen. Business ikayumba. I had to pivot, and I had to pivot by getting into consulting instead of just doing content. And then COVID came to kabisa content. Kwa hiyo Naked again had to pivot. We had to become a strategic marketing communications firm that specializes in strategy, content production, media, PR, etc. And here we are now.
So I want to ask you this, right? I think a lot of time, and then it kind of circles back to how we started, right? In terms of as creatives loving what we do, the ability to adapt and the willingness to change. From your story and from the conversation we've had here, one of the things that I've picked is you've never had issue with adapting to the situation, right? At least that's what I'm like. You've always been able to adapt. Like I used to read fiction books, but now have you tried something? It's like, cool, let me try. I want to do sales. You come do a training. I think I can do it. I'll come and train your stuff. You want read the books, come back, do the training. Like I want to create a studio. Then not only a rehearsal studio, then we're gonna have a recording studio. But you know what? Maybe it could be an analogy. So I feel like you've always found a way to actually to adapt to the environment that either you're being thrown in or you find yourself in.
I didn't have a choice, man, because you adapt or die. I can tell you this though, every single time I had to adapt without my willing, like it wasn't the plan. It was very much coupled with a couple of months of depression. like, shit, I'm losing this job. This is not what I wanted to do. You understand? Eh? So it was always followed by a couple of months of depression, I stress eat. I gain a lot of weight when I'm stressed. It was always like that. Like, it's not, of course, but you don't have a choice. You adapt or die. You sink or swim. But it's not like happily. No, it wasn't happily. That wasn't the plan. But what are you going to do now? You're going to quit? You're going to go home? Tarudi nyumbani kwa mama. Let's go home. Like, no. Hapana. Hapana. Adapt. And then we adapt. And you go through the depression. You get over yourself. You grow a thicker skin. It didn't kill you. It made you stronger. You pick the lessons. You let the bad shit go. And you keep it moving.
Yeah. How have you been able to maintain your sanity through all that?
I have no idea.
Cause it's like you said, you umezungumzia kusana the moments of depression, you know, you stress it, and then at some point your coping mechanism has to come in now. And I feel like hapo ndio a lot of men waga tuna struggle, but when it comes to coping mechanism, kuna wengi naweza wakachagua escape now, turn into different vices, whether it's drugs, whether it's excessive use of alcohol, whether it's, you know, all the bad habits that come with it. Or kuna wengine ambao wanakoma, yes, I'm depressed, there's nothing I can do about it, but I'm not gonna let this thing kill me. You know, so for you, what do you feel like has been something that has kept you moving through all the ups and downs?
Something that has
kept you moving, like not giving up. Let me figure out how we're gonna do about it. Yes, we might go through some hell now, but we are riding the wave. What has been something that has kept you on?
I'm not sure, but I can freestyle.
Go on.
Sina hakika. Nahisi ni mchanganyiko wa vitu vingi. One, there's a lifestyle I'd like to be able to afford because I'd like to be comfortable, and I'd like to be able to afford a certain level of comfort for the generation that I will bring into this life. So even though I don't have kids, I am thinking about them. Yeah? I'm thinking hivi nataka hivi ili nikisaba kiende hivi afa akimaliza ule mwaka pale kama akili iko sharp niacha nione anafanyaje kama iko sharp nitamuingiza in one of these business. There's a lifestyle, and so there's that. Two, there is ubishi tu. Ni watu wa Arusha ndo tulivyo. Na sio Umeru wala Uchaga, mimi sio Umeru wala Mchaga, mimi ni mtu wa Singida, ni Mnyaturu. Lakini culture, the hip hop culture ya Arusha, when you grow around Arusha a lot, kuna ubishi tu. Yani it's just
Trust me, I can relate.
Like, lazima. Lazima kieleweke. Paka kieleweke. Kwa nini kisieleweke? Lazima kieleweke. Which also is, I'm pretty decent at self-motivating. And I think, again, for good and bad reasons, is because when you are very shy and you're an introvert, you become a loner. And the interesting thing about that is sometimes when I'm alone, I'm not lonely. I'm just alone, and I'm okay with that. And because the journey of entrepreneurship of Fano, it's quite lonely, and you gotta have, some people can't deal with it. I'd like to think I'm not so bad at dealing with it because I'm good at being alone. Which means I also need to be good at self-motivating and checking myself never to come a hero. I do not think though that I am very sane.
You have your little bit. You have your insanity.
I think I am. I'm an extreme optimistic dreamer. I just need to see it, even if nobody else does. And there's something I see, which doesn't make sense to say here. There's something I see, and nisipokifanikisha, lazima nitafanikisha. And it just
kufanikisha si option.
It's not an option.
Wow.
It has to happen for me. It has to happen. It has to happen. That's it.
Yeah, more like manifestation, right? And speaking things into existence.
Yeah.
And trust me, I think that is so powerful. And I think for a lot of people ambao maybe like you said, maybe introverts au kwa watu ambao, look, you gotta believe it in yourself first before you convince others.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can tell if a person really believes in it.
Yeah.
You can, like, I don't know how to explain it, but there is a way that I can actually look at you and say, you know what? You really do believe in this. It might not make sense. Unaweza tukaangalia hakuna possibility kwamba itafaulu. Like from where I'm sitting, there is this, there is that, there is this, but sioni tunatoboa vipi. Like in the more you're like, no, this can actually happen because I'm seeing kwamba tukipita. Like, you gotta believe it first before anybody else.
Yeah.
And that is the only way some things might actually happen. And I think that is why sometimes it's very important kuwa na thick skin, especially, well, this is a man's podcast. I think as a man, it's very important kuwa na that thick skin.
Yeah.
I think it is very important kuwa resilient.
Yeah.
It's very important kuwa resilient.
Yeah.
I think it's very important for a man kuwa driven.
Yeah.
Especially kuwa self-driven.
Yeah.
It is very important.
Yeah.
And number 4, I'd like to quote my great friend Princely Glorious. Princely, I don't know if you know Princely. Prince is my guy. Kuna kitu aliniambiaga kitu moja that has stuck with me. Anasemaje, you've got to know what is your thing.
Yeah.
You've got to know what is one thing. Kama leo tukikutoa tukutupa Japan ambao ongea Kiingereza, ongea Kiswahili, but somebody asks, what is it that you do?
Yeah.
You should be able to say, I sell, and I sell so well. And I feel like that is one thing that every person in this world needs to have. It's a skill, whether it means sharpen, whether it means whatever it takes, you need to have that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's super important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got about 3 more questions before I let you go.
Okay.
Number 1, what has been your greatest failure?
My music career.
What has been your great success?
Does it have to be one?
We can mention 10 if you feel like it.
Can you paraphrase the question differently so I can actually answer it?
One thing, and what are the things that have been ambavyo umefanya na vimekuwa na term kwamba this is a success at a personal level?
I've never missed payroll. Wow. Not once.
That's huge. Okay, I think I have 2 more questions. I said 3, but I got 2 more. What is the best advice umewahi kupewa?
You see, unajua inakwaje?
Yeah.
Unajua umekaa na mtu unapiga surf anambia what is your favorite song?
Yeah.
And then you forget all the songs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can think of many.
Yeah.
One of them that I can think of right now is there was a turbulent time in my relationship with my wife, who is, well, now my wife, but at the time we were dating.
Yeah.
And it was along the lines of pamoja na hivi vyote lakini maisha yanaendelea. Kwa hiyo what you gotta do, maisha yanaendelea.
Oh man, you
gotta keep it moving.
Have you ever seen this? There's a clip, I think, on Tom Hanks, Jamie Foxx, Robert De Niro. I don't know with who else. It was a master class, and then somebody asked Tom Hanks kwamba, what is one thing you wish ungejua toka ulipokuwa kijana? Akasema, I wish ningejua this too shall pass. And I love this example. It was like, you think you're going through it. You think nobody gets you. You think you're carrying the weight of the world over your shoulder. You think nothing is happening. Remember, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. However, he went on, he said, you think you're sitting on top of the world right now?
This too shall
You think everybody gets you? You think you're the king of everything is working out so well for you, like nothing can go wrong? this too shall pass. Now, for me, it's like a lot of time tunatumia tuko tunapitia kwenye struggle, but we rarely think of that when things are good. You know, we rarely think of that. The last one, the worst advice ever you've ever been given.
The worst advice? Hizo nazo ni nyingi. Unajua, I actually have friends who I seek their advice so that I do the exact opposite of what they say. And I love them to death.
I get it.
Yani kuna saa zingine inabidi usikie idea mbaya kujua idea nzuri ni ipi. Don't want to brainstorm. Don't judge each other when you're brainstorming. Vomit your ideas. Then anyway, worst advice I've ever gotten. Worst advice I've ever gotten. Kibongo bongo haiwezekani.
You feel ilo neno inaonekana kama ni slogan vile. It's not even advice because a lot of time tunaambia you come with a great idea, people are like kibongo bongo. I remember when I started doing the podcast, man. So the first episode we did was in 2019, right? And I think kipindi hicho zilikuwepo chache. I remember kwa kuna one of my favorite podcasts back then was the Chai podcast. The three ladies walikuwa wanafanya. It's amazing. Used to be my favorite. And I think kulikuwa kuna Salama. I think there was that one. And
Mkasi
alikuwa anapeleka kwenye kabla ya Salama na. I think ilikuwa. But then there were very few. And then wakati mimi na feel like, come on man. Kibongo bongo mzee podcast unafanya utoboe kibongo bongo. Mimi nikamwambia define kutoboa. Yani inawezekana kutoboa kwako sio kutoboa kwangu. Probably we are thinking money, maybe I'm thinking knowledge. Probably we're thinking profit, me I'm thinking impact. So you gotta understand kama unaposema kutoboa unamaanisha nini. But I agree, and I think that saying has killed a lot of people's dreams.
And you know what? Maybe that dream wasn't strong enough.
Maybe.
Because maybe if it was, angesema
Ubishwa chugo games.
Yes.
My man. This was a good one. Hisia, Elisha. Thank you for coming through, man. And it circles back to mwanzo kuzungumza mwanzo kwamba really want us to talk about perseverance, talk about why when you dream, why you gotta go chase your dreams, why it's so hard kuwa na strong conviction na kupigania unachokiamini na in the word of Denzel Washington, if it was easy kila mtu angefanya, right? And that is why sometimes some things are just not for everybody. And it's okay kama wewe ukiona kwamba watu hawakuelewi, as long as unajua unachokitaka na unacho na FitQ, I think I'll quote too many hip hop, but FitQ alisema, I think something along the lines, ukijua unachokitaka basi amke anzisha njia na kukifuata or something like that, or something along those lines. But the point is, if you actually do have a dream, yani go chase it. Inawezekana isiwe rahisi na inawezekana watu wasikuelewe na inawezekana ikaja na a lot of cost, but nothing worth having is ever easy. Tupo kwenye ndoa tunajua. Yani if you really value your marriage na unajua mambo yake yalivyo, sometimes you know inakuja na compromise, kujua wapi pa kupanda, wapi pa kushuka, when to take a step back, when to take a lead, when to be led, you know, and all these other aspects. So it all comes to, but because you know it's something that is worthy, you're always like, you know what, no matter what, we're going to see this through. So I look at challenge nyingine za maisha kwa namna hiyo. And for me, mke wangu anaambia kwamba anahisi nitaishi maisha marefu sana because I don't let things get to me. I try my best not to worry, and then you pray if you believe in God. And then whatever happens, you know, you do your best and God will do the rest.
Amen.
So he's here. Thank you. Before sijaanza kuhubiri na kwa preach huko ndani. By the way, kama mtu anataka kuangalia Msasa, I know you're on YouTube. Are you on any other platform? Me, I watch you. I mostly watch it through YouTube.
Yes. So we're on YouTube, but we're also available on any streaming platform that you can think of.
Oh wow.
Ingia tu andika Msasa podcast. Utapata Msasa. Na Instagram is Msasa. No. So
Msasa, I know mnatumia naked.
So Msasa is a brainchild of the agency.
Okay.
In very many ways, it's our CSR. Amazing. That's how we're giving back to the world. And so Msasa exists on the Naked website, on the Naked socials, basi to YouTube, imekuwa independent, streaming platforms iko independent. Yeah.
Amazing. If ikitokea somebody wants to be featured in Sasa, what do they do? What do they need to do? Or they don't look for you, you look for them?
No. We have, so you can go to our website, which is naked.co.tz, neiked.co.tz.
Naked, naked. Naked.
Well, no, neiked.
Naked.
Naked, yeah.
Why all this time we want to get naked?
Oh, because we mean naked, though.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just being creative.
Gotcha.
So you go to the Naked website. Inside it kuna Sasa section. You can fill a form. Au na slide tu kwenye DMs. Napenda hichi kitu, nadhani mtu fulani. It doesn't have to be yourself.
Of course,
nadhani mtu fulani. Kwa mfano, we've got a couple of people who have already asked, hey, can my boss come and do, I work at this organization, we have this person, can they come and talk about this project? They just reach out. There's no formula. Vyovyote vile ambavyo unaweza ukatupata. Unaweza ukaacha comment kwenye YouTube comments pale, we'll pick it up, we'll reach out to you.
Amazing.
We'll make it happen.
Amazing. Kama hujaangalia Msasa, please take your time, go kaangalia. I think it's a very nice platform. I love the conversation. I love the Feed Q's episode when he talked about him letting down the people that had so much trust in him, and it's just amazing, man. You go pick it up, find your time, kakae kaangalie. There's so much more to learn from there. So from us, this is it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you kwa kuangalia episode ya leo ya Men, the podcast. I hope you will enjoy watching this as I've enjoyed actually having this conversation with my guy here. And I hope, there are lessons that you can pick 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5. If there's something that you pick, nataka kutuambia ni @Men the podcast on Twitter, @Men the podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Or, send us a DM, comment, go to our YouTube page. Wakati unaangalia your YouTube channel, andika comment pale. If you know me personally, reach out to me. It's always good to get the feedback. Kama unasikiliza kupitia Spotify, Apple Podcasts, au popote pale, go give us a rating, comment. That means more people will get to find out about conversations zetu hapa, so tutaendelea kukuza community yetu. That's it from now, or from here, hapa tulipo. Till next time, mimi naitwa Michael Baruti. Hisia was in the building. Peace.
Men, the podcast.